You know when your life is dreamy and amazing and just perfect?
I'm mopping up ice cream a kid threw up, and someone left teeth in the tip jar. What do you think?
You're lucky you're used to bad things. Would you rather be me, having everything and losing it all?
I feel like you want to tell me your story. How long is this gonna take?
Not that long. Okay, so it all started 17 years ago when I arrived in this world as a beautiful baby girl.
Of course you came as a baby girl.
With eyes as blue as cornflowers.
Why are you stating the obvious?
My mother wrapped me up in a cashmere blanket, which was the perfect shade of lavender. Interestingly, lavender is my favorite color.
That's not interesting. Come on, get to the part where your life gets bad. And if you tell me you tripped on a cornflower and broke your lavender shoe,
I really liked that shoe. And I tripped on a sunflower. Okay. I swear, you're gonna love how much worse my life gets. Do you guys want to hear the long version or the short one? Fine, the short one then. My name is Olivia, and before I continue, please like and subscribe. My dad was the owner of a tech startup. Don't ask me what the startup is about. I have no idea. I tried finding out many times, but the conversation always goes something like this. Daddy, can you tell me more about your tech startup?
Of course, sweetheart. Basically, we're using cutting-edge algorithms to optimize data.
What a pretty butterfly on that rose. I need to send my rose pink dress to the dry cleaners.
Our platform synergizes complex neural networks with cloud-based infrastructures.
But I don't have the right shoes with that dress. Maybe I need new shoes, or maybe I need a new dress.
With our blockchain architecture, we're able to establish an ecosystem that…
Daddy has wrinkles on his forehead. I should give him night cream on his birthday.
In short, we are revolutionizing the industry.
That's amazing, Daddy! I don't know, man. Your guess is as good as mine. The important part is that his startup made us very, very rich. Like, take a private jet to your private island kind of rich. We lived in a huge mansion where Mom and I had closets as big as rooms and clothes and shoes for days. My life was a whirlwind of glamorous parties, fancy vacations, and global shopping sprees. I went to a great private school, had tons of friends who adored me, and the cherry on top of my sweet life was Dad's friend's son, my dreamboat boyfriend, Chad. I really had everything. Then it all went to hell one day when I tripped on a sunflower and broke the heel of my fourth favorite lavender shoe.
Are you kidding me?
It's about to get worse, I promise. I was meeting Chad in the park. My heel broke, so I had to walk barefoot. I was crossing the track when this stupid kid on roller skates ran right over my toes. I screamed and fell back on my butt, and then out of nowhere, a crow started attacking me. It was the most bizarre day. By the time I reached our usual spot, I was in a foul mood. But suddenly, seeing the golden hour light hitting Chad's perfect face, everything else melted away. I could take all the ups and downs of life with Chad by my side.
I think we should break up, Livy.
Break up what, babe?
Us. We should break up. I've accepted an offer at a university across the country, and I don't think we can make long distance work.
I don't understand.
Like stars departing at dawn's first light, our destinies ascend separate horizons.
What?
Our hearts, like birds in migration, must seek divergent skies to find our true selves.
I am so confused right now.
I love you, Livy, but we're too young to tie ourselves down. It's best to part ways, and if we're meant to be, we'll find each other again.
Then he kissed me on the cheek and just left me there.
Oof, that's rough. The story's finally getting good.
You're such a sadist. I was depressed for days and just sobbed in bed as I watched MSA love stories. I always thought Chad and I would be up there one day with our own little video. I mean, look at me. My face is a dream for any animator to work with. Anyway, just when I thought the worst thing in my life had already happened, the police showed up one night and arrested Dad for embezzlement. He was charged for stealing money from his investors. And before I knew it, my life really turned upside down. Most of our assets were seized by the government, and we had to leave our house only with things we could carry. I managed to put on 14 dresses, 9 shirts, 4 pants, 5 coats, 6 pairs of shoes, and 2 bags. Mom and I moved into a tiny apartment on the poor side of town, and we got a lawyer. But it looked like an open and shut case with too much evidence against Dad, and he was sentenced to prison for a decade.
I swear I'm innocent. I've been framed. I need you to believe that I'm not a crook.
Of course we believe you, Daddy. We'll get your name cleared, I promise. Naturally, my first course of action was reaching out to Dad's friends for help.
You need to leave. I can't be seen with you. My girlfriend is a very suspicious woman.
Aren't you married?
Exactly. I wasn't running away from you. I was just getting some exercise. Oh look, what an unusual bird.
Where?
I recently hit my head and I have amnesia. I don't know who your dad is or why he made me your godfather.
You're my godfather?
Gotta go. I need to poop.
Chad's father was out of town, and I was so relieved when he returned. He was Dad's BFF. If anyone would help, he would.
I'm sorry, but Sir is still away on business.
His car just passed me as I was walking here.
You must be mistaken. He's not home.
I can literally see him in his study from that window.
Let me put this another way, miss. He clearly stated that whenever you show up here, I have to say he's not home.
That just made my heart break. No one wanted anything to do with Dad because they all thought he was a crook. Next, I turned to my own friends, and I only met more closed doors. Wow, really, Penelope? Remember the only person who could look you in the face when you went through your hideous acne phase? And remember whose shoulder you cried on when the plastic surgeon botched your nose job? And remember who took the blame for your smelly fart when we were hanging out with your crush? You know it, me! Mom had the same luck with everyone she knew. She soon took up a job in a grocery store and enrolled me in the nearby public school. I thought I might feel better with the distraction, but I was a fish out of water here. The kids smirked at my clothes. They smirked when they asked me if my dad was the rich guy who went to prison, and they smirked as they walked past me at lunch. Mom got her first paycheck soon, and she took me out for a manicure to cheer me up. As I stared down at my perfect lavender nails the next day at school, I felt more positive than I had in weeks. I wouldn't sit alone at lunch anymore. I would get to know these kids, and they'd get to know me, and they'd see how lovable I was, and I went flying forward with my food tray and fell flat on my face. As I got up, feeling hideously embarrassed, I suddenly noticed it. 2 of my nails were chipped. My perfect nails, not so perfect anymore. Who is the idiotic pea-brained buffoon who crashed into me?
Oh, come on. We were just playing ball.
In the cafeteria? Did the football field catch fire? Did an earthquake split it open? Did a tsunami wash it away?
Hey, calm down, weirdo. What's the matter with you?
You want to know what's the matter with me? I had a perfect life. I had the perfect parents, and the perfect friends, and the perfect house, and the perfect boyfriend. And if my name wasn't Olivia, it would have been perfection. But then it all started blowing up the day I tripped on a sunflower and broke my lavender shoe. Now I'm here in this stupid school, looking like some hobo with chipped nails! I jumped onto that boy and started pulling his hair and pinching his nose and twisting his ears. It took several people to get me off of him. And then I started crying uncontrollably. I could barely breathe.
I think she's having a panic attack. Give her some space, guys. Hey, Olivia, look at me. You're gonna be okay. Just breathe.
So yeah, I lost my mind. You helped me calm down and brought me to your workplace.
I had to. You were in shock and clinging to my arm like a python.
And now you know my whole story. You're probably thinking, look at this whiny rich girl who lost some money and can't handle it. But it's not just that. I never realized before that my entire life was so fragile. I just never saw this coming. Jackson reached over and put his hand on mine.
I wasn't thinking that. You've been through a lot, and I'm sorry.
Thanks. By the way, how tall are you?
6 feet 4 inches.
No wonder I've been feeling so tiny all day. My life still sucked, but it sucked a little less now that I had a friend. Jackson was so different from any of the guys I'd known. He didn't talk about sports cars or the newest smartphones or the best companies to invest in, but he taught me how I could cut out grocery coupons from newspapers, what the cheapest bus route was, and how to ride a bicycle. He even got me a waitressing job at the cafe and covered up for my mistakes. He lived in a tiny, rundown house with his mom and 3 younger sisters, and even though they didn't have much, I was always made to feel welcome. One day at the park, while Jackson was feeding the ducks with his sisters, I accidentally knocked over his backpack and a sketchbook fell out. I opened it to find the most amazing comic drawings. I leafed through the pages and found a sketch of me, and then another, and then another.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry, it just fell out. Jackson, you're so talented.
It's just a silly hobby.
It's not silly. Are you going to apply to an art school?
In case you haven't noticed, I'm poor. I have to work right out of high school.
But you're too good to not take this seriously. You have to…
Can we please not talk about this?
Okay.
And I didn't make your sketches because I have a crush on you or something. You're just a new, interesting face.
Does interesting mean the same as pretty?
Not necessarily.
So you don't think I'm pretty?
You're not pretty. And what is pretty anyway? There's no set standard.
Shut up, Jackson. You said Olivia's the prettiest girl you've ever met.
No, I didn't. I said Bolivia has the prettiest girls that I've never met.
He wrote a poem in his diary about your eyes being blue as cornflowers. And what was the next line, girls? I could stare into those sapphire lakes for hours.
My diary? You... See what I mean? I need to earn money to put them all in a mental institution.
I couldn't stop laughing as he chased the girls away, and I felt a warm tingle in my toes at the thought that maybe Jackson liked me. A few weeks later, we were sitting in the cafeteria when I got an email alert on my phone, and Jackson noticed my face fall.
What's wrong?
Oh, it's just that witch Penelope. She's hosting her grand annual Halloween party, and I guess she just forgot to take me off the invite list. Forget I mentioned it.
Okay then. So my mom's making her famous shepherd's pie this weekend, and she thinks I don't know what the secret ingredient is.
I think I want to go to the party.
What? Why?
Because I want revenge. Penelope and all these people hurt me, and I want to hurt them back.
What would you even do?
I don't have it all planned out, but I want to ruin her stupid party because it means a lot to her and her stupid friends, and you should come with me.
No, and you shouldn't go either. You'll get in trouble.
It's Halloween. We'll be in costumes. No one will recognize us, and we won't be there for too long. And Penelope will have the best food. I'm certain she stole in my caterer.
I don't know.
Please, I need this, and I don't want to go alone.
All right, the food better be good.
On the night of Penelope's Halloween party, Jackson and I took the bus to the rich part of town and walked the last few blocks to Penelope's house. No one's gonna recognize me, right?
You're dressed like an evil eggplant. It's very unlikely.
You look good as a tree, very tall and leafy. Now you remember the plan, right?
Right, make as many things go wrong as possible. Am I forgetting anything?
Nope, that's the whole plan. Let's go. Penelope's place was swarming with guests, and no one paid much attention to us as we slipped in. And we got down to our mission right away. We sneaked off all the black and gold balloons and made them fly away. We messed up the fake cobwebs and smashed some carved pumpkins. We locked up the kitchen doors and we threw the keys in the swimming pool. Where did all the balloons go? I ordered 500 of them. People, watch where you're going. You're smashing the pumpkins and walking into the cobwebs. And where are all the waiters? Why is there no food? As Penelope stormed off towards the kitchen, Jackson and I high-fived.
Should we go now?
Oh no, this was just the warm-up. Penelope always has a surprise celebrity singer perform at her Halloween parties, and I know this time it's Harry Styles. We have to wreck his concert. It'll drive her crazy.
No, that's going too far. Someone will catch us.
Can you stop being such a scaredy cat? Just tell me if you're in or out.
Olivia, I think I'm out.
And then he actually left. Fine, I'd finish the job myself. I ran off to the back of the house where I knew all the power supply boards would be. I spotted a toolbox nearby, picked up a plier, and started snipping away at every wire. I wouldn't let this concert happen. I'd ruin the whole party. Everyone would remember it as the worst Halloween ever. Just then, I saw a figure emerge from the shadows.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
I flung the pliers to one side and started running for my life across the garden. But my stupid eggplant costume was slowing me down. And suddenly, I found myself being pushed forward and pinned to the ground. When the person chasing me turned me over, I saw that it was Chad?
How do you know oh my god, Livy, is that you? Why are you an eggplant? Actually, what are you doing here?
I could ask you the same question. My whole life blew up and you couldn't send a text, but you made sure you didn't miss Penelope's party?
Listen.
Just then, a pretty girl I'd never seen before came running behind us. Babe, are you okay? Who's this creep? I'll call security.
No, don't. There's been a misunderstanding.
Babe? Is that what she just called you? Who are you, and why are you dressed up like an eggplant? Because Baba Ganoush is my favorite dip, not that it's any of your business. I pushed Chad away and stormed off, tears pouring down my face. I just made it a few blocks down when I ran into a tree.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have left you behind. I came back. Now let's go destroy Penelope.
No, I'm done. Coming here was a stupid idea. Let's just go home, Jackson. I felt more crushed and betrayed than ever. I was busy sulking in bed the next day when Mom called me saying I had a visitor. I walked out into the lounge to see it was Chad. Mom, why did you let him in?
You should hear him out, honey.
Mom left the room and Chad hesitantly sat down next to me.
Is it okay if I sit here?
You're already sitting here. And no, none of this is okay. In fact, this is giving me a fuzzy flashback to when you were sitting down next to me on a park bench. Wait, it's all coming back to me now. Yes, there I am with my bleeding toes and broken shoe. And yep, that's you, walking away after breaking my heart.
You have every right to be mad. I was such a fool, Livy. I thought I was doing the right thing. Long-distance relationships are so hard. I just panicked. I know what I did was awful, but I swear, I never stopped thinking about you.
Just long enough to meet that blonde twig who called you babe?
She was just my date for yesterday.
I don't care about your love life, but what I'm really angry about is...
I know, your dad. I wanted to reach out to you, but my dad forbade it. He's one of the investors in your dad's company. He feels betrayed by what your father did.
Dad is innocent, okay? I expected his friends to believe that.
The evidence against him is too strong. You've got to face facts. He committed a crime, but I'm sorry you're also paying the price. I asked around about you after we met yesterday, and I couldn't believe you're living in this neighborhood now.
For the first time, the thought crossed my mind that maybe Dad was the one who was wrong, and I burst into tears. Chad hugged me.
I'm in town for a few weeks, and I'm gonna try to get Dad and the other investors to go easier on your dad with his prison sentence.
You'll really try?
I can't promise anything, but I'll try my best, Livy.
I walked Chad out of the apartment building, and as I was going back in, Jackson suddenly popped up.
So, who was that guy with enough gel in his hair to set all the cheesecakes in America?
That was Chad.
Chad? Like your ex-boyfriend Chad? Like the guy who broke up with you on a park bench Chad?
Yes, that Chad.
That's such a stupid name. Chad is a country.
Isn't Jackson a city?
Not the same thing. What was Chad doing here?
Offering to help me?
Why would you trust him?
Because he's the only shot I've got at helping Dad. Chad started turning up almost every day, and even though I hadn't forgiven him for the way he'd broken up with me, I could see he really regretted it. He was extra attentive. He seemed to remember all my favorite pastries and perfumes, and never came without a gift. And when he'd take me for drives around the city, I almost felt like my old self again. One afternoon as I was leaving school, Jackson caught up with me.
Want to go to the park today?
Nah, I'm tired.
How about you come to my place tomorrow? My annoying sisters miss you.
I have a thing.
A Chad thing, right? Look, it's none of my business, except as your friend, I would advise you not to date Chad again.
We're not dating. We're just meeting up to discuss Dad's case.
And what's the progress on that?
He's working on it.
Okay then. Enjoy your thing tomorrow.
Don't do those dumb air quotes. It's not a date. Why don't you come with me? We're just going to an art exhibition and then having dinner.
Sounds like a date.
It's not a date, you giraffe. Join us. Chad won't mind. Chad didn't look too happy either, and I could see the way he looked Jackson up and down disapprovingly. But things got worse in the art gallery.
Wow, what a stunning piece of art. Holy mother of noodles, that's for $50,000? It's a picture of a rotting apple. It shows the complexities and slow ruin of postmodern society. Dude, it's an ugly apple. I could draw this with my left foot in my sleep. I didn't expect you to know anything about art, but you're even more…
Chad, he's an artist too, and he's your guest, so be nice, okay? I thought I'd manage the situation, but it got worse over dinner. Chad had just raised his glass and was about to say something when Jackson exclaimed,
"Oh no, Grandma ran away from my aunt's house. She climbed out of a third-story window and fell."
"Oh my God, is she okay?"
My sister is just updating me. Yeah, she survived the fall, but then she went out to the lake on a paddle boat and fell in the water.
What? Did she drown?
Okay, no. Apparently, she's a very good swimmer. But then she went to a diner and choked on her food.
Is she still alive?
Phew, thankfully, yes. Someone in the diner performed the Heimlich maneuver on her, but she's in the hospital for a mild concussion. Can we leave early so I can see her?
Of course.
You can leave now. I'll call you an Uber. I can stay for the main course. We'll skip dessert. Anyway, before I was interrupted, I was about to make a toast to us, Livy. Friendship, much like the delicate petals of a rare flower, unfurls its beauty only to those who possess the refined senses to savor its exquisite fragrance amidst the mundane garden of existence.
That's lovely.
I'm sorry. What does that even mean? Excuse me? Why do you think it's cool to say vague nonsense? Friends don't treat friends the way you've treated Olivia in the past. Can't you be honest about anything? Why don't you start with her and tell her you don't actually have any plans to help her? You want honesty? I think you're a worthless piece of trash.
Before I knew it, Chad had attacked Jackson, and they were in a full-scale fight, bumping into waiters and falling onto tables. Several people managed to pull them apart, and I dragged Jackson outside. What were you thinking?
He attacked me.
You provoked him.
Look, Olivia, I don't get mad a lot. It's scary for people when I get mad because I look like a tall, angry windmill. So I keep it in and stay calm mostly. But I'm mad right now. How can you even stand that pretentious windbag?
Because he belongs to my world. This is the life I had before. You go to stupid exhibitions and talk about trivial things over food and laugh at dumb jokes. And you didn't even give him a chance. You were determined to hate him just because he's a rich guy.
Is that what you really think of me? You know what? I'm the problem here. I don't belong in your world.
Jackson walked off, and my heart sank. He wouldn't even reply to any of my texts or calls later, and he avoided me in school entirely. A few days later, Chad asked me to come over to his place to have a talk with his dad, and I arrived early. As I walked towards the study, I suddenly heard raised voices, and I stopped outside.
That girl is really coming here right now? Chad, what is the matter with you? Look, Dad, when you told me that you and the other investors were making a fake case against her father to get control of his company, I was totally on board. And I broke up with Livy and left because you didn't want me to be associated with her after her dad got a bad reputation. But I didn't realize Livy and her mom would have everything taken away from them. What else did you think was gonna happen, son? I don't know. I just thought the dad would go to jail and we'd be richer. It's not fair. She lives in a dump now. And how are they supposed to afford shampoo and makeup and all the creams and serums they use? Just lie to her and say you're working on getting her dad out of jail sooner so she feels better. And maybe we can give her some money every month. Fine. My son is such a philanthropist. Don't get serious about her again, though. Dad, I'm 18. I'm not serious about anyone. I'm leaving in 2 weeks anyway. I've just been nice to her because she was never very tough, and I feel sorry for her.
I stepped away quietly, blood pounding in my head. I felt fury beyond anything I'd ever felt in my life. I texted Chad that I couldn't come over, and I went home and told Mom everything. We stayed up half the night trying to think about how we could get proof of Dad's innocence. We finally fell asleep exhausted, but the next morning, I woke up to Mom's screams. I rushed to the lounge and saw the TV on with the news that Chad's father and all the other investors in Dad's business had been arrested. How? What are they being arrested for? They're saying on the news that some anonymous employee in the company had approached the FBI some time ago, claiming that Chad's father and the other investors framed your dad and are still involved in other illegal activities. So the FBI had bugged the investors' houses and offices. I guess they overheard the conversation between Chad and his father that you heard yesterday too. Dad's lawyer called. He's going to be released tomorrow. Later, I went to Chad's place as it was being sealed by the FBI officers.
Livy, it's not what you think.
No, only I will talk now. I heard the entire conversation between you and your dad yesterday with my own ears, and I just came to say, I hate you. I despise you with a burning rage of 1,000 suns. I loathe you with the force of 100 typhoons. I wish only bad things to happen to you, and my wish is coming true as we speak. You will lose everything, and you're not even half as tough as me. You will really suffer, and I will dance with joy knowing that. Then I punched his perfect nose and stormed off. Well, actually, I skipped off happily and headed straight for the cafe. I spotted Jackson taking someone's order and ran to him. Jackson, my dad's innocent, and he's getting out of jail tomorrow. Chad's father framed him, and he's been arrested. I punched Chad. I'm gonna get my life back.
I'm working right now. My shift ends in a while.
I can't wait, okay? I can't stand that you're not talking to me, and I know that it's my own fault. I'm sorry I said you were jealous of Chad because he's rich. You were right about everything. He's an obnoxious jerk, and that apple painting was so ugly. Also, if there's anything I've learned, it's that I don't want all of my old life back. I don't want to have fake conversations or fake friends who turn away at the lowest point of your life. I want people like you. You literally saved me, and I love you for that. Also, you're very tall, which is hotter than you know. Jackson just stared back at me, and then suddenly his sisters burst in with a huge bunch of lavender balloons, a congratulations banner, and a cake.
Are we late? Do you know how hard it is to find lavender balloons? I dropped a cake on the way. We can scrape off some of the icing.
I told you girls, we're meeting at Olivia's place, not here. We heard the news about your dad, and we were coming over after my shift.
Even though you were mad at me?
I can't stay mad at you. Look, just let me take this customer's order.
Just kiss her, you moron. Hey, don't call him a moron. But seriously, just kiss me, dummy. Wait, how's your grandma doing?
You want to talk about my grandma right now? Actually, I don't have one. I made up that whole thing to annoy Chad.
I like you even more right now.